Roll Tide, everyone, and welcome to TideTV This Week, brought to you by Thompson Tractor. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Kira Goldstein. And Kira, it's time for some football.
I'm so excited. A-Day is finally here this Saturday.
Kickoff at Bryant-Denny Stadium is coming up at noon on Saturday. If you can't be there in person, you can also watch the game on ESPN. You will need a ticket to get into the stadium for A-Day. General admission public tickets are being offered at $5 apiece. Stadium capacity has been set at 50% for the A-Day game, with gates opening at 10 a.m.
One of the great traditions at the University of Alabama is the annual Walk of Fame ceremony at Denny Chimes. At approximately 10:15 on A-Day, Coach Saban and the 2019 captains, Tua Tagovailoa, Devontae Smith, Anthony Jennings, and Xavier McKinney, along with the 2020 captains, Mac Jones, Alex Leatherwood, and Landon Dickerson, will all address the crowd. The captains will then leave their hand and cleat prints in the concrete as they join a long list of Crimson Tide greats.
Team will then enter the stadium at the Walk of Champions, scheduled for 10:50. During the game, both the Heisman Trophy and Maxwell Award will recognize their 2020 winner, Devontae Smith. The Maxwell Award presentation is scheduled for the first quarter break, while the Heisman Trophy will be presented at halftime.
As soon as the game is over, the 2020 College Football Playoff and SEC champions will be honored at midfield. Head coach Nick Saban and quarterback Mac Jones will address the crowd, and the 2020 National Championship flag will be raised in the stadium. Following that, Coach Saban will present the spring awards to the team at midfield to wrap things up.
Fans will also get a chance to look at the newest addition to the area outside Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday. Tuska, a 7-ton bronze elephant statue, found a new home on Monday. The statue has resided at the North River Yacht Club since 2000.
Tuska's location is at the southeast corner of University Boulevard and Wallace Wade Avenue. As we go to break, let's take a look as Tuska was relocated to his new home in front of Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Tide TV This Week, presented by Thompson Tractor, the exclusive provider of Caterpillar heavy equipment and genuine cat parts for Alabama and Northwest Florida. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for more information. The University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
They pick up a blitz throw, intercepted. That's Daniel Wright down the right sideline. He's going to take it to the house. He's taken down. She's got Mechie wide open. Hello. Catches it at the 20. Takes off and beats everybody in the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week, brought to you by Thompson Tractor. The Alabama baseball team headed west this past weekend as the Tide traveled to College Station to take on Texas A&M for a 3-game series.
This was the first SEC matchup of the season for the Tide when they weren't facing a team that was ranked in the top 6 in the nation. For Alabama, the Crimson Tide opened the series with a 5-3 win in Game 1, led by a strong outing by starting pitcher Tyler Ross. He threw 7 in the 3rd innings for the win, and Chase Lee closed out the game, picking up his 3rd save of the season.
Alabama used a 4-run third in Game 2 to clinch the series. Zane Denton was 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored to go along with 2 RBIs. Sam Prater drove in 2 runs as well, and TJ Reeves finished 3 for 4 with an RBI as the Tide picked up the win in Game 2, 6-3. Connor Shamblin picked up the win with Landon Green getting the save.
It was a back-and-forth matchup in Game 3, with the game tied at 4 in the top of the 7th inning. For the Crimson Tide, Owen Diodati was the difference. His 3-run blast to right field was the game winner as the Crimson Tide picked up the sweep of the Aggies with the victory 7-4 in Game 3. What a weekend for head coach Brad Bohannon and the Crimson Tide. With the sweep, Alabama improves to 19-12 on the year.
A big weekend for the Crimson Tide. Let's take an all-access look at the Tide sweep of the Aggies.
Coach Brad Bohannon's Crimson Tide trying to get back into the win column.
Alabama 2-7 in SEC play. The Aggies 3-6. Critical weekend for both sides. If you start to lose games this weekend, just all of a sudden you're in a fight for Hoover. So it's a huge series for both Alabama and Texas A&M.
Ross looking exceptional.
Twing and a grounder up the middle for a base hit. That'll score 1 run, possibly 2. Getting the wave around third is Rose. He scores on the 2-run single by Peyton Wilson.
Making a terrific play, I think. Peyton Wilson
Calling for it. Jarvis will take over. He'll make the play, and the ball game is over. Gorgeous day for baseball at Olsen Field as Coach Brad Bohannon's Alabama Crimson Tide will go for a series win over the Texas A&M Aggies.
Line drive smoke to center for a base hit. Jarvis scores. Everybody else moves up 90 feet. Fastball is rolled into left field for a base hit. Hammer crosses the plate, and it's an RBI single for TJ Reeves. Swing and a liner up the middle, base hit, rolling into center field. Denton scores. It's an RBI single by Williamson. Give it to him. Huge strikeout. 6 strikeouts overall for Dylan Smith, including 3 in a row.
There's a liner toward left center field. That is going to get down. Rounding third, heading for the plate, and scoring easily on the play will be Denton. 2-2. Cold strike 3. Frozen with a breaking ball, and the ball game is over. Was a winner 5-3 on Friday. The Crimson Tide a 6-3 winner yesterday. They go for the sweep today against the Aggies. Hammer dive, and he makes the grab. What a play.
Denton with a 2-run single to center. That's put Alabama in front.
The throw to the plate is late. It'll be an RBI double for TJ Reeves.
Swung on and launched. They'll need a 12th man to get this one because it's gone.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. The side is retired and the sweep is complete. The Tide rolls in Aggie land.
TideTV This Week, presented by Thompson Tractor, the exclusive provider of Caterpillar heavy equipment and genuine cat parts for Alabama and Northwest Florida. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for more information. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome back. The Alabama softball team hit the road this past weekend for a top 10 matchup with the 8th-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks.
Going into the series, the Razorbacks had 32 wins, the most in the country, and they were also undefeated in SEC play at 12-0. But the Crimson Tide in Game 1 on Friday in Fayetteville, KB Sides got the Tide on the board first in the 3rd inning with a double to left center to score Alexis Mack and Alyssa Brown. On the next at-bat, Bailey Hemphill sent a blast over the left field wall to bring Sides home for the 2-run homer to make it 4-0 Crimson Tide. Savannah Woodard added another home run in the 4th inning as Alabama took Game 1 5-3. Montana Fouts was in command in the circle. Fouts went the distance, throwing 7 innings, allowing 3 runs, but none of them were earned, as she struck out 12 to pick up her 12th win on the year.
Arkansas was able to bounce back in Game 2 as they held Alabama to just 2 hits. The Razorbacks picked up the win and even the series at 1 game apiece with the 4-0 win.
So Sunday's Game 3 would decide the series, and after her dominant performance in Game 1, Coach Murphy once again turned to Montana Fouts. And just like Friday, Fouts was dominant in the circle as she threw a complete 3-hit game shutout, striking out 11. Alabama got runs by mistakes from the Razorbacks pitching staff. With the bases loaded in the 2nd, Jenna Johnson was hit by a pitch that moved everyone around, and that allowed Savannah Woodard to score. Then in the 7th, Kayla Davis scored on a pass ball. Behind the masterful performance by Montana Fouts, it was Alabama winning Game 3 and the series with a 2-0 win on Sunday.
And for her dominating performance in 2 games on the road against the high-powered Razorbacks offense, Montana Fouts was named the D1 Softball National Pitcher of the Week. Fouts was also named the SEC Pitcher of the Week. And 3, I guess, is the lucky number for the Tide this week. Alabama is ranked 3rd in all 3 top 25 polls. Alabama is now 2nd in the RPI. Still pretty good, Roger.
Absolutely. Great work for the Crimson Tide. The Alabama men's basketball team is set to add 2 of the highest-rated players in program history to this team for next season. We'll let you know who it is coming up next.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week, brought to you by Thompson Tractor. Head coach Nate Oates and the Alabama men's basketball team had an incredible season, winning the SEC regular season championship and the SEC tournament. Now that success has poured over into recruiting.
Coach Oates and the staff already had 5-star point guard J.D. Davison signed, along with 4-star small forward Jason Holt. This past week, they added a few more players. Charles Bediako, the 6'11", 215-pound 4-star center from Canada, committed to the Crimson Tide for the 2021 class on Tuesday. Bediako chose Alabama over Duke, Michigan, Ohio State, and Texas. Bediako is ranked as the 26th player in the country by 24/7 Sports and has been playing for IMG's Academy's post-grad team. Bediako is already familiar with 7 of the current Crimson Tide players. He previously played with Keon Ambrose Hilton at ISA Andrews Osborne in Ohio and also played AAU and FIBA basketball with Joshua Primo.
Alabama also added a couple of transfers, and last Thursday, Texas Tech transfer Namari Burnett committed to the Crimson Tide. The combo guard spent 1 year with the Red Raiders, where he averaged 5.3 points per game. The former McDonald's All-American chose Alabama over Auburn, LSU, Illinois, Oregon, and USC. Burnett was the nation's 6th-ranked combo guard and 34th prospect overall in the 2020 class.
On Sunday, Noah Gurley also announced that he will transfer to Alabama. Gurley played the past 4 seasons at Furman. Gurley chose the Crimson Tide over Auburn, Duke, Florida, Marquette, Miami, San Diego State, and Tennessee. Gurley earned second-team All-Southern Conference honors this past season after averaging 15 points and 5 rebounds per game. Over his last 5 games with the Paladins, Gurley averaged over 21 points per game and scored a career-high 30 against VMI in the SoCon quarterfinals.
I think most Crimson Tide fans will remember Gurley. He scored 15 points on 4 of 8 shooting from the field and 2 of 4 from beyond the arc in Alabama's 83-80 win over Furman back on December 15th here in Coleman Coliseum. For this 2021 signing class, Coach Oates and his staff have signed 2 of the highest-rated recruits to ever sign with the Crimson Tide. And according to 24/7 Sports, J.D. Davison is the 3rd highest recruit the Crimson Tide has ever signed, while Charles Bediako is the 6th. That's very impressive.
Certainly is, and the Alabama women's basketball team also added a couple of transfers from Power 5 schools this past week, 1 from the Big 12 and also 1 from the SEC. Jemiah Mingo Young committed to the Crimson Tide after spending 2 seasons in Starkville with the Mississippi State Bulldogs. As a sophomore, she averaged 5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal per game, ranking 6th most in the SEC.
Kyla Wade Warren joins the Crimson Tide after spending 1 season at Texas Tech. Wade Warren played in 24 games, starting 2, scoring in double figures twice. As a high school senior at McNary Central in Tennessee, Wade Warren averaged 23.9 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game. Welcome to all our new athletes. Welcome to the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, some big pickups for both the men's and women's basketball programs, and who knows, they may not be done yet on the recruiting trail. Another big pickup is a win as well by the Alabama men's tennis team. Like softball, the Alabama men's tennis team was in Fayetteville this past weekend, and the 22nd-ranked Crimson Tide came away with a big road victory. Alabama defeated 26th-ranked Arkansas 5-2 to improve to 14-8 on the season. It's the Tide's 3rd win in a row.
Benedetta Moresco received her first SEC Freshman of the Week honor for her performance in the LSU Tiger Golf Classic. The honor comes after finishing in a tie for 6th place, marking her 4th consecutive top 10 finish this spring.
And the 8th-ranked Alabama rowing team had a big weekend. The first varsity 4+ finished first, defeating number 5 Cal and USC by nearly 8 seconds. Crimson Tide's remaining boats all finished second on Saturday. And also on Saturday, against number 1 Washington and number 20 Oregon State, the Tide's boats finished second in all 4 of those races.
Also this weekend, the Alabama track and field team held the Crimson Tide Invitational here in Tuscaloosa.
For a recap of the weekend's events, our Sierra Lynn was there and has highlights of the 3-day event.
Alabama track and field hosted the Crimson Tide Invitational at the Sam Bailey track facility. 14 other teams competed against the Crimson Tide over the 3-day meet, with Alabama placing top 3 in numerous events. Alabama broke 2 school records and won 13 events, earning 25 medals. Jacob Spotswood won the gold for his effort in the decathlon, placing first in 5 different events. Both the men and women came in first in the 4x400 as well as the 1500, where they set national leading times. Elliot Kipsang set a school record of 3:36 and Amaris Tanisma set a PR of 4:12.72. Next up, the Crimson Tide will travel to Auburn this weekend to compete in the War Eagle Invitational.
Thank you, Sierra, and well done to the track team. You know, the Alabama men's track and field indoor team is up to 5th nationally in this week's rankings, and the women are 7th.
Congratulations as well to Tamara Clark. She was named the Southeastern Conference's Women's Runner of the Year. Clark posted the second fastest 100 meters time in school history with an 11:07, ranking 1st in the nation. She also ran legs on the Tide's champion 4x400 meter relay and silver medal 4x400 meter relay.
And Elliot Kipsang was named the SEC Men's Runner of the Week. Kipsang finished with a 3:36 in the 1500 meters, shattering the school record and winning the event by more than 10 seconds. Kipsang's time ranks 7th all-time in NCAA Division I history, and he also won the 800 meters by nearly 3 seconds at 1:47.20, ranking him 5th in the country.
Stay with us. We'll have our players and plays of the week coming up in just 90 seconds.
They pick up a blitz throw, intercepted. That's Daniel Wright down the right sideline. He's going to take it to the house. He's taken down. She's got Mechie wide open. Hello. Catches it at the 20. Takes off and beats everybody in the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama.
Diving effort by William Haminer in right center field, and he robs Bryce Blum with a whip jump.
Swung on and launched high and deep in the air to right field. Minich moving back to the track, to the wall. They'll need a 12th man to get this one because it's gone. Owen Diodati with a 3-run homer.
A rip and a miss, and Fouts has done it again. Back-to-back strikeouts with the bases loaded. Hemphill lifting one to left. McEwen back, that thing is gone. And Alabama with a 4-run 3rd inning.
11:07. Tamara Clark with a legal win. A freshman trying to better and become University of Alabama's all-time leading guy. At 1,500 meters, he destroys it. 3:36 flat for Elliot Kipsang. Also will put him #1 in the NCAA this year. At 3:36 flat.
Those were our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Payless Drugs. Zane Denton led the Alabama baseball team with a .474 average, 9 base hits, 7 RBIs, and 10 total bases in their series sweep of Texas A&M.
And Montana Fouts went the distance in softball's 2 wins against 8th-ranked Arkansas. Fouts tossed 14 innings without allowing an earned run and also struck out 23 in her outstanding 14 innings of work.
And those are our Payless Drugs Players of the Week.
Thanks for watching another episode of Tide TV This Week.
We'll see y'all next week. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.